Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 67 of the Top Loaded podcast. That was nearly forgot that one straight away. That's a great start for me. That's definitely thrown me off. But Harry, how are you doing, my friend?
Yes, very well, mate. Yeah, very well. Cooking a little bit in this heat at the moment. It's not good for albinos like myself, but yeah, not doing too badly apart from that. Thank you, mate. How you doing? You well?
Yeah, like I say, heat is lovely and horrid at the same time. But an episode
Yeah.
has to be recorded, so we are recording at an evening slot. So it was just that bit cooler. However, it's dropped 0.5 degrees since midday, so not really any much better. But we are joined by a special guest later on in the episode. Obviously, we're joined by the guys over at the Scotland Card Show, which is obviously based in Edinburgh this year. But before we do, we're going to recap a bit of the hobby over the last week and go into our pickups as well. A bit of a different order for this one, but like I say, it's good to get another guest on board, and there is plenty actually in the workings of coming on. But first of all, there was one set released this week, which is gone quite well and not gone quite well at the same time. The FC Barcelona Chrome set that has been everywhere, but whenever I've seen the breaks on whatnot, they've not really done that well. It's a lovely looking set, having a certain chrome one. I think it was £155 retail. Chance of booklets, even though you can weigh the boxes and see them. But what was your first initial thoughts on this FC Barcelona Chrome set? And obviously, the first actual like £150 mark Chrome set rather than the likes of the Bayern Munich Chromes, which was thousands, PSG, and the likes of the others.
Yeah, it was different. I think, we associate the Topps Chrome team sets with your higher end market. We saw, like you said, we saw the PSG set. We've seen was it Dortmund
Yeah.
Sets come out as well. They're at such a higher price point. So I guess also we associate them with that higher price point. But for it to come out, I said that £155 mark obviously was something new. There's a lot of big names in there as well. A lot of names we're not too familiar with in terms of in the hobby. Like, Samuel Eto'o is a fine example. Got very few autos, very few cards naturally, or generally, sorry, should I say, within the hobby. It's a lot of just base cards. That was the only thing that I found a lot was that there's a lot of like just base. You go and see sort of like the checklist is in terms of what spots you can buy on a break, or just base, chance of an auto, just base, chance of an auto. Like, so I'm doing some rap, just base. But yeah, so it's quite. I think it's quite cool, but it's very niche. Like you said, you've got to be either a Barca fan or a collector of one of said players. I do like with the incorporation again of the women's in there as well. Now you've got obviously like Alex Patelis, and you got sort of Kira Walsh, some sort of Barca women's players in there as well, which I do really like. How you've got the incorporation of both men's and women's. But yeah, as you said though, it's different to see spots harder to sell, especially on whatnot. We've seen, like I said, we've seen a lot of boxes not do too well, not sell out, or it's been harder to sell them out. Whether it's because again, we've seen a lot of big hitters already. I know we saw obviously the quad booklet we saw on Instagram, and I saw that a couple of days ago or yesterday, whenever it was. So yeah, it's different. I think it's a pretty cool release. I think we've got a lot of plays in there that we don't see too often within the hobby, that don't have a lot of cards. But it just reminds me of a bit of a more premium version of like the curated. I can never say the word curated sets.
Yeah.
You've seen these boxes of the curated sets. Oh, Jesus Christ, curated sets. I'm calling them team sets. We've seen a lot of these team sets where it seems like it's a bit in the medium between your team sets and your massive high-end chrome sets. Like they're just sort of settled in the middle a little bit. I said I think it's pretty cool. I said it's got some big names in there. It's got some cool cards in there. I love the booklets, the quad autos. It just seems like it's missing something. I don't know what. It's just missing that factor, that edge where people want to buy into it, or people are wanting to buy, like we said, the PhD, these like 10K boxes. It just seems like they've gone a bit too low now. They've sort of seen a 10K price point very high, and they've sort of gone, oh, okay, cool, we'll go down a little bit, but they've gone too low and missed that benchmark in the middle, I think, anyway. But I said, we've seen some cool one-on-ones hit already. We've seen some cool quad booklets hit already. So there's nothing taken away from the fact it's not a nice set. I think it is a cool set. I just think there's a lot of base cards that you can hit. Obviously numbered as well, but it's a lot of just plain base cards. So yeah, that's my beat around the bush opinion of Barca Chrome.
Yeah, I think obviously the configuration of the actual boxes for people who don't know, you get about 3 numbered cards per box, and on average 2 autos, which is quite good. But then, how heavy the checklist is of young rookies and some what they call legends that, by all accounts, most Barcelona fans had no interest to buy in. That does water it down a bit. Obviously, like I say, the inclusion of women's cards in it is fantastic. But then, yet again, the market on buying their cards is such a niche market that it's not having that resale value. Whereas you look at the typical Chrome boxes where it was the first team squad of that year of that team, and you guaranteed an auto of every single one and a base card of everyone. It had the players in it, like for example, PSG one, you was guaranteed Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe autos. Dortmund, you had Haaland and Jude. So, and Bayern Munich obviously likes Lewandowski, Gnabry, Kimmich, Neuer. Whereas this one, you could get 2 autos, probably could go for £10, £15 each. So, and like you say, being in Barcelona colours, you really have to be a Barcelona collector or a PC of that one. I've seen a few people here or there, maybe for Kira Walsh or Lucy Bronze, obviously being an English women's perspective. But like you say, it narrows it down being a Barcelona set, whereas the Champions League Chrome, you have all the teams. Obviously now it's UCC as well, so you've got Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League. So it has that broader player base and also fan base. So, like I say, it'd be quite intriguing in like a month's time. I think it could be one of them in a month's time. They're just not selling because as soon as the normal Chrome comes out, it's going to all the attention will seek over to that, especially likes of West Ham, obviously won the Conference League. They'll be trying to get their players of which ones are in there. Same with Man City, they'll be chasing the Man City ones, and obviously same as Sevilla as well. But like I say, it just lacks that bit for me. And being a Barcelona set, I'm like, the only men's player in it that I'd be bothered about getting their auto of really is Messi, and I'm like, but that's just unreal. The odds of hitting him is probably going to be one in like every 1,000 boxes or something. So, like I say, it's a good release, but it narrows the market down quite a lot. And I think that was actually a perfect interlude because obviously another thing Topps love doing is bringing out a Topps Now card. And obviously it is the conclusion of the football season. So it's natural you get the Conference League, Champions League, Europa League winners ones. I think they brought out today the Conference League ones for West Ham. And I think there were 6 different ones, I believe. I think
I think there was, yeah.
Declan Rice picking up the trophy, Bowen after he scored, Ben Rama after he scored, David Moyes, the full team, and Emerson. So that's 6 cards. And I think even the bundle's about 50 quid, 45 to 50 quid, which, don't get me wrong, for a West Ham fan is absolutely fantastic to cherish the moment, hopefully get a numbered card.
6-card bundle, £31.99.
Oh, so it's not too bad for capturing the moment, but obviously print run be quite high on them. Obviously have the parallels, which they look fantastic. All of them come in paralleled form. Like I say, no doubt the Man City Champions League winners / treble winners ones will be out very soon. Today we had the Japanese game. Well, recently the Vissel Kobe, who Iniesta plays for, played Barcelona in a pre-season game, and they brought out Topps Now cards for that. One of Iniesta and Xavi, and then one of the Barcelona team. And then today they've started the new summer signings ones as well for Alexis McAllister at Liverpool. So Topps Now have had their work put out, and no doubt there won't be any top loaders in sight when they do get posted out.
I mean, judging by your recent experience, I'm sure you'll be hoping that they will be having some form of top loaders in there anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to see. Like I said, I mean, for any West Ham fan, I think could have been the first final in what was it 50 odd years, I think it was, and to have these sort of cards as mementos from the day and from that sort of times in history. So I do like one of Moisey, just merry sit there holding his medal. I think is pretty cool, but. Yeah, I think Topps Now, it's one of them cards that I feel like you buy it for the memento, you buy it for that special occasion where it's like cool, West Ham left the UEFA Conference League, and they've got that card there. You've got Ben Rama, Bowen, Emerson, the first guys to win all 3 competitions. They're pretty cool. And I see, for any West Ham fan, you'd be ordering all the whole 6 bundle without any hesitation, but. They're still continuing to the F1 as well in the Topps Now, and I think there's one recently. I think of Xavi and so Xavi and I won't say Iniesta, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, they're still doing the story of Senna bundle as well every week. So yeah, so Topps Now is still taking over. But yeah, this fingers crossed they actually package them a bit more sufficiently this time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's obviously everyone's concern. And like I say, congratulations to the teams who all won their competitions. I hope their fans actually doing really good. They are fantastic looking cards. And obviously, talking about fantastic looking cards, we have got summer rivals this week. Obviously, I'll start on this one because I have a few more than you do. And then,
Just a bit.
but did get a couple of cards over. Thank you to LGL, who will be on in 3 episodes' time as his third
Big up,
episode of
Lou.
the year. I had a few arrivals that I bought off of him via one of his many sources of getting cards, which was a nice Granite Xhaka to 199. Obviously, I think everyone in this world now knows I like that fella. A nice Kieran Tierney
Why don't you click
match
on
ball.
Shaka?
I've just started.
Never knew
Playing.
that, mate. Never knew that.
I thought I'd try something new. I thought, you know what I mean? Nice Tierney match warm patches from Impeccable.
Don't
Don't
see
get
that sort
much
of thing
match
anymore, do
warm.
you?
Yeah,
Match one patches.
then this one was, this is actually exclusive. What come out in China for Futera, Grand Jack and Legacy one, which you don't really see much over here, which is cool. Number to 16, and then the last one, which was a very cool one. I have the normal patch auto of this Jorginho National Treasures, and now I have the printing plate 1 of 1. So quite nice to pair up the actual card switch printing plate. And I have another printing plate en route. But moving on to my next purchase before I let Harry take over, before I go into my last one, it's something a bit different from me. Obviously, I think everyone knows now, we briefly mentioned it, that on Netflix, all the Harry Potter films have returned. And if anyone needs to binge watch anything, Harry Potter is the one to binge watch. Picked up a couple of cards here. Got this one in the break, which is limited edition, obviously the car flying. Actually, number to 150. Don't see many Harry Potter cards there numbered. And then I quite like this slab here. It's an SUC 9 from the 2001 Panini Harry Potter sticker book of Ron Weasley with obviously Scabbers the rat, which is just a lovely looking card. And no doubt, I know Harry agrees with me here that the older Harry Potter stuff from around the first one to Philosopher's Stone, it's just, you can't beat it, especially in good condition.
No, definitely not. I think, I've got one of the, I think 2001 Philosopher's Stone, I think it was, Harry Potter sticker in SUC 5. Like, it's really cool. You don't really see them very often anymore. I know, obviously, Harry Potter, they had one of the sets released. They released a certain number of boxes, I think, didn't they, of them Harry Potter sets that were really cool. But I said, I think it's one of the thing we've spoken about recently where, if Topps get this licensing to do more, like movie, like Stranger Things, we've seen Harry Potter, like, something along that lines. I'd love if they brought out like a Cars set. I also know they're seeing it in Disney 100. But yeah, I think it'd be wicked. But yeah, I did manage to pick up something this week. Not quite pick up, more of a trade. Actually, did a trade for the first time in a little while. So shout out to Welsh Card Collector on Instagram. I had a Gasly Sonoda Constructors Coalition to 25. Which I know my good friend Ronnie did get for me in a little challenge we did at London Card Show. Stuck on the same line and traded it straight for a 2020 portrait, purple refractor from 2020 Chrome. 2020 Chrome purple refractor portrait of Pierre Gasly's number to 399 in the PSA 8. So yeah, they literally did a straight swap, the Drivers Coalition for Constructors Coalition straight away for that. So yeah, I'm going pretty hard in on Gasly at the moment. So I'm sure most people have seen my Instagram post from Sunday as this goes out. Obviously of the 3 sitting poses that I've got, the base, the sapphire, and the aqua. And was very pleased to pick up and add that obviously to the Gasly PC. So that is massively growing at the moment. And hopefully you can get within the points, get back up the leaderboard this season. But yeah, that was my only success. I know we're waiting on a few bits coming over from the US. I know me and you both.
Yep.
When they come over, obviously, we can get those on. But for the time being, that is the only pickup of the last week.
Yeah, I've got one last one, and it's a card that I thought I probably wouldn't own for a while, but managed to get it for a very good price, and that was a Jens Lehmann on-card auto from Eminence, number to 10. And for one of the most premium sets out there, it's just the foil and everything on it's just incredible. On-card auto as well. So that was my main pickup of the last few weeks, and the reason why I will not be picking up anything else for another few weeks, because that has near enough blown my full budget for the month. But it's one of those cards that has to be had. But like I say, obviously we're going to be joined very shortly by our special guest. But any last closing questions before we get into the interview?
Not quite questions. I'm literally just seeing a Gunther Dynasty on card hobby that went for $76, and I'm quite upset. To 5. I literally seen it because I was like, one was supposed to end. I thought yesterday $76. Oh, But no, that was it. It's just my disappointment about that I've just seen that's ruined my evening. But no more closing questions for me. I think it'd be good to just speak to the guys at Scotland Card Show and see how they're doing. But yeah, it's been a pretty quite a week. Obviously, we've seen West Ham and we've seen obviously City from the English clubs win their finals, which obviously has been nice. Bittersweet from an Arsenal perspective to see City do the treble. But no, apart from that, mate, nothing else from me.
Like we say, that's perfect way then. We will now head into the interview, and like we say, this would be a great one because obviously we love talking around the UK about different shows. So let's get straight into it. And we are now joined by our Flying Scotsman himself, and obviously the host of the Scotland Card Show. How are you doing, my friend? And welcome back. Cause it's been near enough a whole year since you've been on the Top Load podcast.
Oh yeah, I think I just looked and I looked on your Instagram. It said 44 weeks ago. So you guys are all grown up. It's nice to see you again.
I was going to say a lot has changed there. So obviously you've had your first show. The second one is around the corner. Work's been put in third. But if we start at the beginning of the journey, obviously last time you was on, you was talking about the upcoming show. How did the first one go for you?
Yeah, it went better than I expected. It was quite an emotional day as well, seeing it all come together. And I think more people turned up than I thought. Lots of people wanted tickets at the door. We had 12 vendors there, and I think all the vendors had quite successful days. I think MGC said they took in as many submissions on a busy day in London as well as they did in Glasgow in that wee venue. So yeah, it was a sunny day. I think it was 28 degrees in Glasgow that day as well. I'm thinking back, it was August, so yeah, it was nearly a year ago, but I remember it so well, and it was a great day, really good feedback. And again, it was just the main feedback I need to take on board was just need a bigger venue. It doesn't mean you need to fill up with more people, but just more space for people to walk around. And hopefully that's what we've done for this one coming up.
So that's a perfect leads into my next question. Obviously, it's so hard planning a show for the first ever time. You don't know what to expect, how many people are going to travel. But obviously, like you say, you've learned about the venue. Was there any other learning points along the way that you actually picked up? Because like I say, it's a maiden voyage. You don't know what to expect.
Funny enough, the main thing was just pointing everyone where the toilets was, all that kind of stuff. So I think this one, everything's going to be signposted. There's going to be signs everywhere. And yeah, it was just a bigger trading area because it was only a small area and the venue was tiny, Didn't know what to expect. And it was kind of putting the show on to put a taste right there to see if there was any demand for this kind of thing. And I think, like I said in the last podcast with you guys, I just wanted to give myself time to do it right the next time. And yeah, so I gave myself a good, what has it been since August, 8 months or something, 8-9 months. And now that it's finally coming, I feel like everything's in place. We're all ready to go, really excited. And yeah, it's sold out and I hope everyone enjoys it coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, I remember seeing a lot of the stories and people that have YouTube videos, obviously from the show itself. Obviously the queue around the block. It was like I was saying, I was see you like the Burbank show. It was great to see. Yeah. Obviously, the weather played ball with you as well. But obviously, when you was trying to walk around, I know you had that little advantage point when you was looking down on it. What was your thoughts when you was actually standing up there looking down? Like, is that when it really started to seep in that you've actually done a really big show and it's gone down really well?
It's funny. I'll say it on this podcast, but it's the first time my partner's ever seen me cry. I'm not gonna lie. I sound so weird, and you've just got these tables and put on this event, but yeah, it was just I don't know what came on me. It was just like you put so much work into something, and to see people smiling, having fun, and it was a sunny day, and when it was just in full flow, I was just walking down and even I got a chance to enjoy it and I went to vendors buying stuff and yeah, it was just came over me and she was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen you cry before. I'm like, ah. And then she keeps like, oh, will you cry on the wedding day? I'm like, I don't know. It's no card show, but
are there going to be cards at the wedding? Then I might start crying.
Yeah. So it was weirdly emotional, but hopefully I'll keep composing this next one, but who knows? Don't know what.
Obviously, I'll now pass over to Harry. Obviously, the next show is the 1st and 2nd of July, I believe. But obviously, I'll pass over to Harry now to ask you a few questions about the upcoming one. and obviously the transformation, different location, everything else. So over to you, H.
Yeah, obviously, fastly approaching obviously the show number 2. I guess the main talking point to me, what can we expect from the upcoming show? I noticed, obviously, I'm sure most people would have seen from the Instagram, there's going to be a few different changes, obviously for the upcoming show, some new additions. So I guess to summarize, what can we expect from show number 2?
Yeah, so we've got a bigger venue. We will have more tables and more vendors. There was a high demand for more Pokemon at our last show, so we've hopefully reached that demand and brought more Pokemon vendors to the show. It seems to be Pokemon and football seem to be most popular here in Scotland, and we're trying to bring in more Scottish companies as well to get a chance to be at a card show. So we've brought in some more local vendors from the likes of like Aberdeen, Inverness, Livingston, and Glasgow. But we're also bringing some of the bigger companies down up from London. So we've got eBay is going to be walking about, Whatnot are going to be streaming for the day, and then Tops are going to be there with like a photo booth where they like can take a photo of you and turn you into like a football card. They're going to be doing their raffle, and yeah, like bringing these companies to Edinburgh is really cool, and yeah, it's just hopefully going to be bigger and better for everyone. Bringing these companies to have a chance to see them, and yeah, I don't know what else to add to that.
Obviously, I mean, as I believe as an addition from the first show, we've got a trade night obviously happening on the
Yeah.
evening as well. And I think there's obviously the awards night has been tagged onto that as well. So I mean, what was the thought process behind obviously adding a trade night onto the end of the show?
You know, it was I actually I've attended the London show a good few times, and I actually love the trade night. I have so much fun at it, and I just thought it'd be something really cool to bring to Scotland. And I got so many messages of people like, "Oh, this needs to be a regular thing and stuff." So trying to find a venue close by to the venue for the show, and luckily Hibs Stadium is literally a 50-minute walk from the venue. And I went and checked it out, and it was perfect. The bar will be open, really cool venue. And yeah, I just thought it'd be like everyone can just catch up and have a drink. And then the awards night idea just came like, I think it would just be cool to celebrate the kind of community we've brought together, and, you know, a chance for everyone to come together and celebrate what we all really enjoy in our full time or spare time people do. So yeah, I actually have an award here if you want to see one.
Podcast exclusive.
Yeah. So, because it's only a few weeks away, I thought I'd give you a wee podcast exclusive. So, these are the ones that look. We've got eBay sponsoring it, who've given us a chance to get some nice awards, and Kevin from eBay will be there hosting and taking photos. But you want to have a look? Oh, you can't even see it.
Oh, that looks fantastic.
That's unbelievable.
Absolutely fantastic.
Last podcast of the year, 2022-23 winner. And there's our logo at the top there.
That's
Looks
unbelievable.
Like
that is wicked.
it looks like someone's just scored 35 goals for their team and just won player of the season.
Player of the season, yeah.
They will have an award for each winner, and we'll also have an award for each runner-up as well. And that's just, you don't want to have so many people leaving sad. So we thought we'd add some runners-up as well, so more people can feel like a winner, you know?
No, definitely. I mean, for those of you who haven't seen it, so you've got awards for Podcast of the Year, Card Show of the Year, Community Hero, YouTuber of the Year, Streamer of the Year, Card Collector of the Year, Vendor of the Year, and Grading Company of the Year. Obviously, yeah, you pretty much summarised it perfectly in terms of why you introduced obviously the awards night and what sort of that entails. How has the response been to that so far? I know we've seen obviously a lot of the previews been put out on the page as well, and you know what the overall sort of response to it.
It's been really good, and I think as it's the first one, I think a lot of people were messaging, just kind of being like, "Oh, you should add this category and this category," and we've added these 8, and of course, there's so many categories we haven't hit yet, and it's just because we could only do so many for the first one, and we thought we'd do these 8, and the plan is to hopefully host these awards at other shows as well. So hopefully like Cardiff, London. It'd be cool to use like the London stage for something like this as well. And yeah, just those kind of ideas, and hopefully add more categories once there's more people involved in it and stuff. So just the 8 categories just now, and hopefully it's just a really chill night, because I don't know how much speaking I can do. So I'll maybe have to have a few drinks before I start announcing stuff. And it's a really cool venue, and it'll be really nice to just celebrate everyone's achievements for the year. And it's always nice to see vendors coming to trade night as well. So it'd be cool for them to have a wee incentive to come as well for a trade night.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you could literally add 20 different awards for different categories,
Exactly, yeah.
different things across the hobby. So you've done pretty well to narrow it down to 8. I guess looking forward now, what are your next few plans in terms of future shows? Have you got anything sort of set in stone that you've already got planned ahead, or what sort of does the next let's say year, 2 years look like for the Scotland Card Show?
So obviously, since our last show, there's been 10s, 20s of shows so far. People are on their 4th or 5th show, and we're just about to have our 2nd. I'm definitely getting like a fear of missing out, not putting on more. But also, I want to make our show the kind of that one time a year where these people make that trip up to Scotland and make it a whole weekend and make it a holiday. Big companies like, you got like Third Down, you've got MGC, Pops, all that whatnot and stuff. They don't want to come up to Scotland, 4 or 5 times a year. So giving them that one a year that they can come up, and it's a really big event rather than a good 4 maybe smaller events. That's the plan. I really did nearly put on a winter show this year, but I think I want to put all my eggs in the basket for summer next year and just make it really big. So we have booked in Glasgow next summer, and the date and stuff will be announced after the show in a few weeks. And it will be bigger, and it'll be huge. Yeah, so really looking forward to it.
Nice. All sounds very positive. Obviously, looking forward.
Yeah.
Ronnie, I don't know if you've got anything you want to add into the equation.
Obviously, yeah, it was just touching on the back of the walls. I think it was a great idea. Obviously, very fortunate to be nominated for Podcast of the Year as well, which was a big surprise, but we loved some sort of recognition is just fantastic enough. But I've got to ask, obviously, you touched on before that you picked up a few cards at the first show. So obviously, you can't always guarantee getting around. But what cards did you pick up at the first show, and what kind of stuff are you looking at potentially picking up at the next one?
So the main thing I'm collecting is the Scottish football cards. So when I went around there, I was picking up, like, I think a lot of the vendors were like, this is our chance to sell the Scottish stuff that nobody wants from these other shows. So they sold amazing. I picked up some Ross County cards, some Celtic cards, and I just kept going back and forward to MGC with a pile, just sending them to get graded with them. So they were loving it. Like, my pile was like this big. They're like, sweet, yep, cool. And yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I think Pops were really interested in coming to Scotland, was they have these SPFL sets, and they're kind of using this as a way of meeting the people that enjoy these sets and seeing what they like, what they don't like, and take the feedback, and seeing these sets being hyped up. Because, you always see an SPFL box at the London show in the raffle. Nobody really wants that. Like, everyone's like, whoa, but you come to Edinburgh, and that's all anyone wants. So, yeah, they're excited to see the buzz around these kind of sets. And yeah, that was the main thing I picked up in Glasgow, was the Ross County and Celtic cards. And yeah, there's still it's really hard to tell right now, but we've been in talks with trying to get some players to come and do some signings at the show. But because it's after the season, so many are gone on holiday, so we're not sure yet. But hopefully that's something we can sort out in the next few weeks of getting some players to come do some signings of their cards at the show. Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, just obviously the show's upcoming. For people who don't know, potentially could have looked at coming, how has the ticket sales done for this one in comparison? And as well for the trade night as well, because some people might want to come down for the trade night if
Yeah.
they want just to have an evening with like fellow collectors.
It was funny enough, this show was nearly only a 1-day show. And when booking the venue, I was really on the fence, like, do I go for it? Do I go for the 2-dayer? Or do you think I'm like pushing it and maybe trying to run before I can walk? And yeah, the Saturday sold out about 5 months ago. So I'm very glad I did do the 2 days. And tickets are sold out for the full weekend for the show. And there's about 50 tickets left for the trade night as well. And that's the same ticket for coming to the awards night as well. If you don't want to come to the awards night, that's fine because it's in a separate area to the trade night. So everyone will come to the trade night, and then at 8:30 on July 1st, I'll announce everyone to come through to the next room if they want to come to the awards night for the rest of the hour. And yeah, you can bring your drinks and come hang out.
Yeah, so sounds fantastic. I think I might try and make a last minute trip up for the trade night and trade. When I heard it was the open bar, that kind of really swung me in that kind of favour. But obviously, you're saying that sounds very good. So, I thought, is there any words of advice you got for people? Obviously, you might not know the area around the actual show where it's happening.
Yeah, so luckily the venue's quite central in Edinburgh, and it's in the region of Leith, which is lovely with the Hib Stadium, lovely parks. And in the area of Leith and the city centre is free parking as well, because obviously it's a hassle getting parked in central. So the whole area is free parking around the venue. It's about 35-minute walk from Waverley train station, but there is a tram service that just straight outside the train station down to the venue, and there's loads of buses. The Lothian bus routes are really good. And yeah, it's really cool. I don't know what else to add about Edinburgh.
Nice.
Hopefully it's sunny as well. I feel
Yeah.
like we're wasting the weather. I bet you it's all gonna like come downhill and be crap weather for the show, but I don't want it too hot either. I don't know what I want.
Yeah, it's one of them. You want the perfect balance. You want it to be not too hot, but not too cold. You want it dry. It's just the perfect accumulation. But obviously, it sounds really good. We wish you all the best. But is there any closing messages you'd like to say for people going to come along, or even potentially think about coming to the trade night?
Yeah, I think if you unfortunately missed out on tickets so far for the show, definitely come to the trade night. It's July 1st on Saturday, 7 till 10. It'll be really good fun. Bring your binders, bring your cards, bring your slabs. It'll be really good vibes. And hopefully you can grab a ticket for the next show in Glasgow next year. But other than that, keep an eye on the socials for the floor plan coming out this weekend. And a few more announcements for some vendors as well. And apart from that, I think voting for the awards closes a few days before the show. And yeah, that's when the winners will be decided and be announced that night as well.
Yeah, like I say, if you haven't voted already, there is a link in the description of the Card Show Awards on Instagram. That would be linked with the post as well going out. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you to vote for, but if you are voting on a podcast, there is a recommendation from us. But like we say, Jamie, it's a massive pleasure to have you on yet again. We wish you the best of luck for Card Show number 2, the 2-day and the trade night, and no doubt we'll look forward to hearing from you how it went, and also looking forward to episode 3 of the UK Scotland Card Show adventure.
Thanks so much.
Like we say, we wish everyone the best. Still times we're having that on 1st and 2nd of July. We wish you all the well. Maybe a secret visit up there if we can manage to get a flight out if all times are allocated. Yeah. But to everyone who's listened along, watched along on this one, I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. Most important, hope keep trading, buying, selling, all that good jazz. But most importantly, happy hobbying and good night.